So implementing transparency means that you know what the data is that is used for this decision, where it comes from, what is the whole lineage. You understand how you are able to explain how the decision is made in terms of algorithm. Sometimes you might not be able to say it in detail, but you understand the drivers and you understand roughly how it works. The second part that is very important is consent. And consent means that you are doing things that the customer has consented. And in order to implement these two things and other different aspects of ethics in data and AI, because it's quite complex, what is important is to make sure that people, everybody in the organization is thinking about ethics. Ethics is not a checkbox, but ethics is a design. It's something that is built by design. And you need to keep people asking these questions. Basically, is this thing that we are doing, or the way we are doing this thing, or this system we are implementing, or these decisions we are making, what would the customer think? Rather than saying, what would audit think? Just think about the customer. Would the customer approve it? Yes. Okay, then continue doing it.
And do you think the landscape has evolved over the last decade? I'd say you've got your traditional AML, fraud, and risk systems. And because they've always been rule-based, there's a big role that generative AI and AI agents can play in sort of moving that, at least shifting that a couple of notches up. But the willingness of the banks to sort of explore that has been a little bit, I don't think it's the unwillingness, it's just how to navigate that landscape has been a bit challenging.
What generative AI can do to help in fraud in particular is with the investigations. There are a number of flags that are a number of alarms that happen. Those alarms probably will continue being rule-based. Then there is an analysis. That analysis often is done by a person. It can take a lot of time. But with generative AI, you can automate the research, you can automate the case, and you can identify whether this is a case that is easy to handle by AI, or is a complex case because there are many parties involved, because there are different alarms, and then you decide that case to be handled by a human. So the right way of understanding the autonomy is exactly that. Is one of the zones is completely AI, the other extreme will be completely human. And then you have in the middle either the process is run by AI and checked by a human, or the process is done by a human and checked by AI.
Most of the teams working with these systems are asked, they're not the traditional teams that we generally put in front of AI systems and ask them to sort of absorb it, right? So these are the compliance teams or the risk teams, and these are teams that we traditionally didn't want them to engage with technology as much. That was not part of their scope.
But when you talk to these teams and you show them how a bot can, for example, automate the research process for a fraud case, they love it because it's very, very simple. Because basically is, hey, I am suspecting that this particular company might be doing something strange. Could you please write a report with all the publicly available information about this company?
Now it's not only internal data, but you can absorb external data from public sources and bring both the information together to really identify something bad is happening here.
You're the best-selling author in 2024. The book was released. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So this is my first book, got published a few months ago. And I try to explain artificial intelligence. I try to do it in a simple way, explaining how it developed, who are the people that got involved, what are the stories for the development of machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, etc. And also what is going to happen over the next few years, what is the good things that I think are going to happen, what are the challenges that I think we are going to face. I talk about the geopolitics of artificial intelligence, which is becoming quite prominent these days. And then I go towards topics that are related to the longer-term future of AI,